I have some good news and some bad news in regards to the Assassin's Creed movie. The good news is that I don't think the film is as terrible as some reviewers are making it out to be. The bad news, however, is that it is still quite a rubbish movie. There will be full spoilers ahead during this review, you have been warned. Like the video games that it's based on, Assassin's Creed follows the seemingly never-ending war that is taking place between the Templars and the Assassins. The movie jumps back and forth between 15th century Spain and the present day through the use of a device called the Animus, a machine that allows the user to access their ancestors' memories that are genetically stored in their DNA. Why would anyone want to do this, you ask? Well, the mysterious Abstergo company believe that through accessing past memories, they will be able to discover the location of powerful hidden artifacts that are situated around the world, with the Apple of Eden being the artifact that they desire the most, as it enables the user to have the power to control free will. Callum Lynch's Spanish ancestor Aguila is believed to have stolen and hidden the apple, which is why Callum is saved from death row by Abstergo and taken to their secret base, which doesn't actually seem to be that secret as it's in the middle of a massive city, with what looks like a football stadium right next to it. As someone who has played the Assassin's Creed games, I had no trouble understanding what was happening during these opening 20 minutes. However, I feel as those who haven't will be completely lost. The film opens up with a clip set in 1492, before jumping to Callum as a child. We then move back to present day and see him be taken by Abstergo. A few minutes later he is thrown into the Animus and the viewers are transported back once again to 1492. None of this is really given any context, so I can empathise with those watching who are probably wondering what the hell exactly was going on during this opening sequence. After this disorientating beginning, the film starts to settle down as we spend more time at Abstergo between re-entering and exiting the Animus. A common criticism of the early AC games was that many found the modern day setting to be boring and didn't really care for the whole Abstergo plotline. I, however, always quite enjoyed the modern setting, which is why I stopped playing after AC3 butchered the present day story, but that's another topic altogether. Disappointingly, despite my fondness of the modern day setting featured in the games, I found everything that happened within Abstergo in the movie to be incredibly dull and tedious. None of the characters apart from Callum are really given enough screen time to grow and to be of interest, which is a shame because I found him to be pretty unlikable. And to be honest, even he, the main character, doesn't really get a chance to fully develop either. We are told that he was on death row for murder, and Marion Cotillard makes it clear that he's a particularly nasty man, but we never learn exactly who he killed or why. I'm guessing the filmmakers are saving this information for the sequel if there is to be one, but just a snippet of more information about his criminal past could have gone a long way to make his character more endearing. Instead, all we know is that he's a killer, he strangles women, and he generally acts like an arsehole. After watching the entire film, I came to the realisation that I wouldn't have actually cared if he died in the prison by lethal injection. The middle hour of the film follows a similar pattern in which Callum re-enters the Animus, experiences a memory, is dragged out for one reason or another, and then revisits another memory. The scenes of his ancestor Aguila are well presented and by far the most exciting part of the movie. The combat and free running is great to watch, with it all being well shot, and I came out of the movie feeling that I would have much rather have just watched a film that focused on Aguila and his partner Maria. For the most part we only see these two characters engaging in some kind of fight sequence and don't actually learn that much about them. However, I found them both to be a lot more interesting and likeable than all the characters that resided at Abstergo HQ. In between Animus sessions, Callum experiences what the film describes as the bleeding effect, which essentially means he is able to learn the techniques used by his ancestors, which pretty much turns him into a super soldier. Of course, using the Animus isn't all sunshine and rainbows, as the machine does have its negative side effects, the primary one being madness. Fans of the early AC games will know all about Subject 16, a man who went crazy after prolonged exposure to the Animus, so it was nice to see this translated to the big screen, even if it did look a bit stupid seeing Fassbender fight against a vision of his ancestor. Away from Fassbender, the two other characters who received the most screen time are Jeremy Irons as Abstergo's CEO Alan Rickon, and his on-screen daughter Dr. Sophia Rickon, played by Marion Cotillard. As villains go, Alan Rickon is pretty insipid and one note. He's extremely forgettable, and his death at the hands of Callum at the end of the movie, who just simply walks up to him and stabs him, is a complete anti-climax. Dr. Sophia is slightly more interesting. She is constantly at odds with her father, and eventually goes as far to suggest that she feels used and betrayed by him after he reclaims the Apple of Eden and makes his intentions to force control upon the population clear. With this in mind, however, I feel that the ending makes absolutely no sense. After seeing her father die at the hands of the assassins who claim back the Apple of Eden, Dr. Sophia does a complete 180 and vows to continue her father's work, even though moments earlier she remarked that she had become deaf due to inadvertently helping her father to gain access to a device that could control billions of people. I understand that she was obviously distraught with her father's passing, but it still felt wrong that all of a sudden her morals and beliefs that she carried throughout the entire film totally disappeared. And whilst I'm on the subject of Marion Cotillard's character, I just want to mention that although I like her as an actress, her accent in this film is all over the place. One minute she is attempting to do the weirdest English accent that I've heard in a long time, the next she sounds, well, French. It's a minor gripe I'll admit, but it's something that I couldn't help but notice. Moving from a small gripe to a very big one, I feel that the entire sequence in which the assassins in Abstergo overthrow the Templars towards the end of the film to be absolutely ridiculous. Throughout the film we are told how dangerous all these men and women are and how they are predisposed to violence. Combine this with the bleeding effect and as previously mentioned you have a ton of highly trained and skilled super soldiers. So why do none of the Abstergo security guards have guns? Do they really think they will be able to handle a ton of trained assassins with just batons? To be honest, it's just really dumb. The first Assassin's Creed film in the planned trilogy is a bit like the first game, in that there's fragments of potential buried underneath a messy and confused final product. If this film was more focused on its past setting than its present day, then I'd probably say it was worth viewing. However, as it stands you're looking at less than half of a film that is actually interesting and enjoyable, and it's up to you whether that's enough to make you go out and watch it.